Welcome to Stretford Paddock. I'm Ronaldo Brown, and this is the news at Old Trafford. And you're going to have to deal with the noise behind me again because I still continue to do stuff. But anyway, there's a little bit of news, isn't there? There's a little bit on a possible Pogba replacement. There's a little bit on an Atletico Madrid player possibly being linked to United. A utility player, someone that can play in multiple positions. And also there's still a little bit of development on the Jadon Sancho story. I know it's got tedious now. I've got tired of reporting it. I'm tired of the speculations, the monitoring, the supposed agreements. I just want to get a done deal, and hopefully the next time I'm on the news, it's done and dusted, because I'm absolutely sick and tired of speaking about it. But in terms of the news, you saw Rashford with his Fabrizio impersonation last night saying yes to the possible announcement of Jadon Sancho. That could be him being hacked. That could be him being drunk on the piss last night. Or was he hacked really? Would someone hack Rashford's page just to say yes? I think they'd probably do a little bit more than that. So I'm not sure that I'm inclined to believe him. He's probably been speaking to Jadon, probably aware that the deal is happening. But you can't put too much belief in United, because Jadon could be telling Rashford that it's coming, but if it falls through between the two clubs, then it's out of Jadon Sancho's hands. But hopefully the deal gets done, and I think it's almost... There's no way we can't mess this up. There's no way United can actually make this breakdown. It seems too in the final stages. It's been going on for too long now. It looked damning on United itself. We've cut the price down. It looked like we've got a little bit of a bargain. It looks like it's all worked out for United in the end, and hopefully we get a deal over the line. But without further ado, I'm going to get into the first bit of news, and it's not about Jadon. It's about a possible Pogba replacement, and that is Leon Goretzka. And this has actually been reported by Sports Build, which is a relatively credible source, if I'm honest. You've got the likes of Christian Folk on it. So it might actually have a little bit of legs, especially because Pogba's future at United isn't always guaranteed. It always seems to be kind of a seesaw. Sometimes it seems like he's staying, sometimes he's not. It's kind of that Raiola effect as well. And the fact that Pogba's performances fluctuate as well for United. We've seen how he's performed for France. He's probably been their best player in the tournament, even though they bowed out. So the fact that we are looking for a possible replacement is a good idea, because you'd want that kind of stability. And I think what comes with Pogba at your club is that you're never quite sure whether he's coming or going. But in terms of a player of Leon Goretzka's ilk, he is quality. I think he was one of Germany's bright sparks yesterday. He looked relatively dynamic. Next to Kroos, he looked like he had a little bit about him. He had a bit between his teeth. He got about the pitch. And I think he's someone that could definitely play for United. He's definitely got the quality to do so. And it's been reported that by Sports Build that United view Bayern Munich midfielder as a potential replacement for Pogba this summer, with Pogba's future very much in doubt. The German international has been with the Bavarian Giants for 4 seasons, registering 25 goals and 27 assists in 112 appearances, and he only has a year left on his contract, and he hasn't made any kind of progress in agreeing a new deal with Bayern Munich. So the price tag that's been kind of thrown out there for the likes of Leon Goretzka is around 75 million euros. That is too expensive, I believe. But with a year left on his contract, there's a possibility that United, if they act this summer, which they probably won't, you can never have too much belief in our board, we could get him for a considerably cheaper price. And I wouldn't be too upset with the signing of Leon Goretzka. He's someone I've always been a fan of. He's only 26 years old still. He's got a lot more to give. I think he's got the physicality and the ability to kind of suit the English game and the kind of dynamic play that United try to kind of operate. I know a lot of people have seen the links to Harry Kane, and after watching Harry Kane for England, I don't think Harry Kane's even someone with all his quality and his goal scoring quality and his attributes and his clinicality when it comes to finishing. I think he hasn't got the mobility in that to kind of support the players that are at United up front, or kind of just get into that mould that United players. So someone like Leon Goretzka is more kind of dynamic in that way, and I think that's the type of players that we need to go for, players that can get about the pitch, players with legs, but obviously got that little bit of quality sprinkled in as well. So I wouldn't actually be too much against it. Whether it happens or not, I don't quite believe. I'm hearing that he does want wages in excess of 350,000 euros a week. Would United give him that? Definitely not. I don't see him getting that at all. I think if he does come to United, he'll have to take a little bit of a pay cut. So I believe it's just one of them where possibly he's getting linked to United so that Bayern Munich kind of pen him a better deal that he's actually looking for. And it's one of them where even 90 million euros a year annually was turned down by Alaba when he opted to go to Real Madrid instead. I think that Bayern Munich don't want to lose out on another quality player, and I think that they end up re-signing Leon Goretzka, and I don't really see him coming to United, but if he did, I'd be more than happy. So let me know what you think about Leon Goretzka. I think he's a great midfielder. I think he'd improve us definitely, but let us know what you think. Oh, the second story of the day is utility player Marcos Llorente that we've been linked to, where it's been reported that United are keen on Atletico Madrid's Marcos Llorente. United are active in the transfer market and have already shortlisted various La Liga players. After a failed attempt in January, United are keen to test the waters for Llorente once again. And United are active in the transfer market and have already shortlisted various La Liga players. When it comes to United and shortlists, I think shortlist might be the wrong term. I think it would be more like long lists every time there's a transfer market, so it wouldn't surprise me. They've got a bunch of names. Will he actually get the deals done for any of them? I'm not sure, but a player like Marcos Llorente is more of a utility player, as I've mentioned, someone that doesn't kind of pen down to one position. He can play false nine, and then he can play right back, he can play CDM, he can play centre mid, he can play on the right wing. The fact that he's not kind of got a specialist position, it's not the type of player that I feel like United need to sign at the moment. We need someone that can come in and do a definitive great job in a position that we're looking to improve. For example, up front, out wide, as we're trying to get Jadon in, and definitely CDM. I know he can play there, but is he the type of player that can come in and kind of set the world alight in that position and kind of make the progression that we want and hopefully get the best out of the players around, also in that midfield area, because we've seen how McFred definitely has a little bit of a shelf life and has a ceiling with it. I'm not quite sure, because I apparently played in about 8 different positions for Atletico Madrid. He had 12 goals and 11 assists though. He was very productive. I remember the goal he scored against Anfield, so I'm always going to be a fan of him for that one. But whether I see that actually happen and whether that interest is valid, it might be. But will United be able to pencil a deal because he was important for Atletico Madrid last season? I'm not quite sure. How much money does United have to kind of throw around in the transfer market, especially when we do get the Jadon Sancho transfer over the line? We'll have to see. If it's someone that we can get on a cheap and someone to kind of strengthen out the squad, if we do end up losing some sort of player out of the starting 11 or around the first team fringes, then it would be a good signing. But it's one that I don't see happening. I think it's too important to Atletico Madrid. He doesn't have a specialist position, so where does he kind of fit into the United team? I'm not quite sure. I don't think he's going to come to United and be a backup, especially when he was a pivotal player for a team that won the La Liga last season. So I don't see that happening. And I feel like I say that about a lot of the transfers that are linked to United, because quite often it is the case that a lot of them won't happen, but we have to keep the faith, and we never know anyway. But let me know what you think about Marcos Llorente. I think he's a great player. I think he's got a lot of ability and he's got a lot of versatility about him, but in terms of coming and fulfilling United's needs, I'm not quite sure. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. And I'm going to get into the final story, which is probably the man you've all been waiting for, but you still all be tired of hearing, and that is Jadon Sancho. And the final story has been reported by Patrick Berger, our guy from the Tier 1 podcast. I don't think there's anyone more Tier 1 when it comes to Dortmund news or Jadon Sancho news either. And he has basically said that Borussia Dortmund will accept United's third offer of 85 million euros. There were good talks in the last few days between Dortmund CEO and Ed Woodward. Good talks between Ed Woodward and anyone is a welcome sight to see, and seems to be quite a rare one as well. But it looks like we're pretty much at the end of it now. I think it's a possibility where it gets confirmed after the Euros possibly, and not whilst he's there, so he has the ability to go a medical and so on. But I feel like we finally, I don't want to tempt fate here, in the final stages of this saga, and we do get the player we want. And it seems to be we've been critical of United in the way that they've kind of been bargaining the price down and not paying the money. But it seems like United have got their way in the end, and 85 million euros seems like a lot cheaper of the valuation that was initially given throughout the Jadon Sancho saga. And it's basically what it does is we get to save a little bit of money, get the player we want, and kind of filter that money out to the possibility of signing extra players, the likes of a Varane, a Koundé, a Llorente, a Goretzka, like I've just mentioned, even a Trippier that we've been linked to. So it's looking ideal. It looks like United have finally just got what they've been asking for. It's been a little bit less tense or kind of far apart, or there's not as much of a disparity between the price tags and the valuations between the two clubs now. I think an agreement is coming very close, and as soon as it breaks, we'll definitely have it here on Stretford Paddock, and hopefully we get the man in a shirt and we get him playing in this stadium next season, and hopefully he can kind of boost us to a little bit of silverware. I know he hasn't played in the Euros. I don't know if that's a Premier League bias. I think I've stated my opinion on that. I think as a quality player, he's got a lot to give. People lie, numbers don't, and Jadon Sancho's numbers over the past 3 seasons haven't been rivaled by many players in Europe, and that's even the top world-class players himself. So Jadon Sancho will come to United, he'll make a difference, hopefully, and we'll get this deal done. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm Ronaldo Brown. This has been the news at Old Trafford, and I'll see you next time.